said, I would do this, and she is going to make corruption number one,
public enemy number one,
and all of that. We listened to the former president George Weah, who made the statement during his inauguration. He said public officials who will be caught in the web of corruption will be penalized according to the law. Here you are saying you're going to criminalize
certain things.
You're going to criminalize certain things. More specifically, you're going to criminalize public officials leaving the country, going out for medical attention. Public official probably sponsoring their children in foreign countries, using tax resources from the country. You're going to make sure that you crack down on most of the things in your mind that you think they are irrelevant and they are contravening to the development of the country. But one listening to you may say, but this political leader doesn't seem to be serious, because this is just the replication of the same messages we've heard over the time. I don't know how serious are you, I don't know how serious is your movement, but people listening to you out there want you to convince them on these policies that you bring into national development.
Exactly. You mentioned, Ellen, that people made all these statements. I blame the press for that. When people come on air and make statements during political season, the press is supposed to do some investigative journalism. Follow their track record. It's not enough to sit on air and just say, oh, I'll do this, I'll do this. What's a track record? Ellen, when she came up and said, oh, I'll do this, she has track record. The road from Monrovia to Hotel Africa shouldn't have been that road. She was Honor Secretary under the Ministry of Finance. What have these people done? Judge Weah, when he came, what did they do? Current President JMB, follow their track record. If somebody tells you I will do this, go to their past. What have they done? So if they've not done it yesterday, then you can't believe that. When you follow my track record, you know I'm a disciplinarian. I am an enforcer.
So what does your track record speak of?
That's why you got to investigate. Now I'm on air.
So you got to tell me what your track record speaks of.
I just told you my track record. I am an enforcer. I am a disciplinarian. I push people hard. I hold people accountable. That's what I'm saying on air. Now when I leave, you do the research and say, has this guy been doing what he said he does? So we want to make government attractive. When Lila takes over the helms of affairs, the only people that will make real money in this country will be teachers, will be police officers, will be soldiers, people will be nurses, people that are really doing the work, not that a corrupt legislature. Why are they increasing their salary every term? Why? What's the dividend? What dividend does this country reap from their leadership for which they keep increasing their salary?
Are they doing nothing?
You tell me. What are they doing?
Are they doing nothing?
What laws are they making that the labor minister can just give out work permit? I don't know what they're doing. When Liberians don't even have jobs, you got Chinese driving truck, you got everybody doing anything that Liberians can do. Why? Listen, I have a friend in Nigeria. He's a Liberian. He's from Maryland County. He has a master's degree, MSc in banking and finance. He married a Nigerian girl. I was with him. When his father-in-law sent him to the University of Benin, where his brother is, I think, a vice chancellor or something, and said, go there, this is my new son-in-law, he married your niece, give him a job. We went there. That Nigerian man looked at my friend in the face and said, you have MSc in banking and finance. Why should I give you a Liberian a job? Are there not Nigerians with the same degrees? Why would I leave Nigerians to give you the job? And he never gave him the job. Not so in Liberia. Look at the banking sector. I was at GT Bank and I was talking to those guys. So, but these Nigerian banks, when they went to Ivory Coast, the Ivorians said, if you must operate in Ivory Coast, Ivorians should manage the banks, your banks. If Ivorians can manage it, then you can't do business with us. And they left. They come to Liberia. It's like open season. Anybody does what they want. It's wrong. When Lila comes in, the question was, what are we going to do differently? We are bringing in discipline. We are bringing in fiscal responsibility.
And you think the system we've been having over the time is an indisciplined system?
It's an indiscipline. It's a mismanagement system. It's just nothing. Okay, we're bringing in fiscal discipline. We are going to make sure we put our money where it is. Look at the national budget. I've not seen it yet because I've been on travels. So I've not looked at the national budget that the president just submitted. Follow the national budget and you'll know where the heart of the government is, because the purpose for the national budget is the roadmap to tell you the priority issues of the government. When they're not putting money in schools, when they're not putting money in hospitals, when they're not putting money in children development, when they're not putting money in youth development, we're not putting money in skills acquisition programs, when they're not putting money in social safety net programs, but they are putting money in corporate operation and security and all of that, that is a language of corruption. These people know exactly what they're doing. They came to grift, they did not come to lead. That's why my primary assignment is to make government so unattractive. You a Liberian man, when we attract all the flies, you want to remove the flies from that rotten fish, pour some salt in it. That's what we're here to do. We're going to make this government so unattractive that nobody will want to come to government.
So making the government unattractive is a very delicate position from your government if you happen to win in the 2029 elections. It's a different ball game. Now, making government unattractive, let's look at the methodology in terms of finances, in terms of job opportunities. How are you going to do that?
It's simple.
Financial acquisition.
It's simple. Listen, this country has vast resources. We keep going all over the place begging for money. You going to beg for money and you buy $1.something million bulletproof car. How serious can you be? The car you buy, and which road you have to drive it on. I flew in with some guests from the States here. And one of them, he's an American, but he's originally from Trinidad and Tobago. The other one is from Barbados. And they had an expectation, their first time coming to Liberia, because of the image Liberia has in Trinidad. When we landed at RIA to drive from there, the airline left their luggage behind. When I said goodbye, he said, I'm not going back on that road. The government lacks priority. When you take over the helms of affairs, RIA is the gateway to your country. The first priority project you should have taken care of was that road. From Ellington to George, we had till 2 years in this administration to drive from here to RIA is an hassle. Liberia lacked visionary leadership. So we're bringing in visionary leadership. We're going to solve the problem from afar. We're not going to wait to get in it and then we start. Right now, I saw them breaking down places. Why are you breaking down places? New communities that are developing, government's supposed to go ahead, structure those places, set the standard of the kind of houses, the kind of streets, the kind of thing. No, government just allow people.
Those things were not set up. Those things were not set up.
So there's no vision.
This government probably is trying to set them up.
Where? Show me the proof.
But you mentioned the breaking down of different structures.
Because that's foolishness. Why break it down when it shouldn't have been built in the first place? So many new communities are coming up. You go on the RIA highway, you go to wherever, name all the communities along that highway, people just building houses. I went to one all the way inside the Boston Road. What's that road again? Marshall Road. People building houses that they can't drive cars to. How is that proactive? People can't drive cars to their own houses. To go to your house, you got to pass in somebody's yard. You can't even direct somebody. You got to, in Liberia 2025.
But this government was
People still have to tell you, oh, when you come to my house, you stop to that yellow house, then you see a plum tree. Then in 2025, are you kidding me?
This government was not the government in power when the construction.
I would not take that excuse. JMB was vice president.
So should he leave these different structures?
JMB was vice president for 12.
The Constitution does not give the vice president any political power.
I understand, not political power, but he should have understood the problems by now. If you were vice president for 12 years and you took over the helmets affairs, it's the same thing I had an issue with Ellen. When Ellen, I think she had done like 2 or 3 years, and she was interviewed. I don't forget that interview. And said, why are we not saying anything? What was Ellen's response? Oh, these years we've been taking it to prepare. For me, that was an impeachable statement. Because for over 30 years, you troubled this country, you brought war, you murdered people in this country, and then to finally to be voted into office, and then you took 3 years of the country's destiny to plan. So the 30 years you were agitating, why were you not planning? I'm not president yet. I already know what I want to do from day one.
You've already planned.
I already got this country planned in the palm of my hands. So I'm not going to get from day one. I will tell you exactly I can articulate what we will do from day one from this. So you cannot take 3 years in the office and tell me you're planning, then you don't belong there.
But the issue about the demolition of these different structures, and that's why I want you to be reasonable and see that the government yesterday did not put these things into perspective. Now this government is trying to put these things into perspective, but you're condemning it.
Which government put in this?
This government.
Is this the first government that's doing demolition exercises? We've been seeing demolition exercises over the country, in the country for years, in memorial. What do? They destroy the people's property. They do nothing. After a few months, the people come right back and build the same thing. The government is not proactive. Liberia, let me tell you the problem. Liberia does not have a followership problem. Liberia does not have a resource problem. Liberia does not have a listening problem. Liberia has a leadership problem. We have a serious leadership deficit. Look at the city. It was not built with vision. Even the people from the past that built Monrovia, they did not build it seeing 2025. At the time they built it, maybe 100,000 people. They just built it for their families at that time. They never believed that in 2025 there will be population explosion. Okay, before the war, people were in other counties. Things were happening. During the war, Monrovia became the only safe haven. So everybody from all the villages ran to Monrovia. Monrovia is overpopulated right now. Okay? A proactive government, this is what I would do. That's why I tell you I can articulate what I want to do from day one.
Let's hear you.
If I came in as president from day one, this is what I would do. I'm going to develop, I have a program that I already called Reconstruct to Decongest. Okay?
What is that?
I will go to all the counties. I will build model cities in every county capital and move the population. Take companies, take other things that make those places viable, economically viable.
How do you build those model cities?
When you can buy a car for 1.something million, you can find money. There's money in this country. You can generate. There are smart ways to generate revenue. The problem is our leaders are lazy.
How is your government going to generate revenue to create the kind of environment that you project as a country?
We got resources. Okay. We got resources being plundered by other people. People just sign concession agreements and just put money in their pocket. We got resources. But some of the places I will get resources from, all these bogus salaries that these people have, that's how I'm going to make government unattractive. I'm slashing all those salaries. Representatives don't deserve the money they make. Senators in this country don't deserve it.
How much do you think they deserve to make? If you were a president,
a quarter of what they're making right now.
What is the what?
I don't know their salary. You tell me.
The senators are making over $10,000.
Why should they make that
money? So you pay them $5,000.
I will even pay them $4,000. They don't deserve the money, and then we don't pay them $10,000. We give them gas slip. We give them for what? The people who elected them to office, who gives them gas?
Why should you pay them $4,000? Why should you pay them $3,000?
They don't even deserve $4,000 by what the country looks like. They don't deserve it. Listen, I work in companies. Okay. People give you bonus because the company has made profit. Has Liberia made a profit? What is the dividend of the leadership of the current legislature? What's the dividend? We're still paying people who were failures. Because I listened to Manager Howard Taylor when she complained about her pension and other things. I was on Focus. I'm a contributor on Focus. And I told them she should not be paid pension. No former office holder, Senate, Representative, Vice President, President, that Liberia did not benefit from their leadership, they don't deserve pension. It's just like I send my child to school, you fail, and then I go to Christmas shopping for you. For what? Which parent does that? These people failed in office. Ellen administration failed. We as administration failed. This other administration is already on the track of failing. And then they get out of office, then we say we'll be paying them. Who does that? If the country benefited from your leadership, pension means thank you for your service. That's what pension means. That means you serve your country so well that when you retire, the country is indebted to you. That debt of gratitude. So we say, okay, we'll be paying you pension. It's stopping to keep you going. You don't fail in the office and then we pay you. That's where we get some of this money from. I'm not paying no pension to failures.
It's law on the book, the pension.
There are so many other laws on the book that people don't keep. There were tenant positions that Job Walker came and he violated. Were those not laws on the books?
He violated those laws, but they are still on the book.
Exactly, but he violated.
They've not been raised by the national
Exactly, so we have to reenact some of those laws.
So if you are complaining on the pension, the pension aspect, how are you intending to work with that particular laws on the book that has to do with you want people who serve the country diligently, people who gave all.
In what respect? When you say serve diligently?
No,
hold on. Give me a dividend of Ellen's administration, give me a dividend of Weah's administration, give me a dividend for the 2 years of JMB administration. What did we get under?
You frowned. You frowned at politicians who dishonestly serve the country.
Yes,
you frowned.
I frowned at that.
You said,
and I don't think they should.
You
be
said
pension.
they should not be pensioned.
They should not be pensioned.
They should not take anything because the country did not benefit from
the country benefited nothing from
that. Is your perspective.
That's my perspective.
Now I am saying that this is law on the book. Once you serve in these positions,
we will revisit those laws. That's what I'm saying. That listen, there are laws on the books that are keeping us backwards. Okay, there are laws on the books that keep us backwards. What's this guy at Telecom? Government give him office, pay him salary. Government even go to repair generators in his house. For what? Who repairs generator for the people who voted this administration?
You mean the commissioner
whoever he's called. That we pay you, we give you gas slip, we repair generator in your house. Which country on earth does that? Tell me one other country on earth that repairs the generator in the home of a government official.
How do you intend to do that?
I will cut all those off. I will cut them off because those are the wastage that we're talking about. Liberia has money. Liberia has the wherewithal to be better. The corruption is too much. No accountability. There's impunity. We cannot keep running the country like this. If we continue running the country like this, we're not headed anywhere. The future is bleak. We cannot have it this way. You have people that just lord it over the people. People driving and pushing ordinary people off the street. People doing anything they want to do. This is not how you run a country. Government leadership, they are called public servants. That means the boss of these people are the Liberian people. Is that how you treat your boss?
So all of these things you've just spoken about boils down to corruption.
All corruption.
And I want to know your methodology when it comes to dealing with the corrupt factors, the corrupt issues in the country. Now, Lila, as an organization, a political movement that wants to see, in your words, that wants to see the improvement of the country, how do you intend to deal with corruption and people who are caught in the web of corruption? Because the former president, George Weah, said those officials who will be caught in corruption, who will be smelled with corruption, the law would take its course. Madam former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf says she's going to make corruption public enemy.
Yes.
We didn't see the realization. At the end of the day, we realized that the country's budget was short for most of the time. Government officials were paid lump sum amount of money, and the country, at the end of the day, the Liberian people continue to live the same very life they are living. Turn over to Mr. President George Weah, who told us that he is going to ensure that corruption is cracked down. At the end of the day, he said we all are interrelated.
Exactly.
And we can go and establish the War and Economic Crimes Code because we know one another. And we can fight that. At the end of the day, the U.S. government had to sanction and slap the CDC government with some high level of public corruption cases, wherein today some of these very officials from the CDC government are now officials of the government leading the agenda of this country. When you take power as president, looking at all of these things that are happening in the political corridors that affect the livelihood of the people, how do you intend to deal with the issue of corruption?
One of the first things I would do right after inauguration is to break grounds for the largest prison in Liberia. That's the first thing. And when that happens, remind me of this conversation. One of the first things I want to do is to break ground for the largest prison in Liberia.
For what?
People will go to prison. People will go to jail. Not Ellen administration, where everybody, she set up the LACC. I was living in Nigeria at the time. Under Obasanjo, they created the EFCC in Nigeria. LACC in Liberia is a replica of the EFCC in Nigeria, okay? And everybody that the LACC indicted, Ellen as a president became the personal defense counsel. You don't do that. When you set up a government entity, allow it to do its job. If your friend was caught in the web, let the law, let the process play out. If they are innocent, they will be acquitted. If they are guilty, they should pay the price for it. But everybody they indicted, I remember Musa Belide when he was director at the RIA, and he was indicted. She said, I can put my head on chopping board. You don't do that as a president. You are trying to contravene or circumvent whatever the agency is set up for. So we will hold people accountable. If you are, what was the other guy? He was at Public Works. What's his name? When he also got indicted, he remained in his office while the investigation went on. That corruption has so many faces. During our administration, when that happens, anybody who gets indicted, you go face the music. You cannot be in that office. Once there's an indictment, you have to leave that office, face it. When nothing, if you are not guilty, you can come back to your job, but you will go dance to the music. Okay? So we have to be serious about what we are doing when we talk about corruption. Corruption has many faces. When you employ your friends, when you employ your cronies, that's also corruption. When offices that are set up to handle certain responsibility are not given the freedom to do what they're supposed to do, that's also a form of corruption. Another form of corruption is everything surrounding concession agreements. When companies come to this country and say, let's assume we want to operate in Nima, the people in Nima should have a part in that. They are stakeholders. When we're talking about project management, the local people are stakeholders. They should have a place, they should have a seat at that table. You don't sit in Monrovia, draw out an agreement and send the people in the rural areas and just tell them go and do anything. The people, we need to create some local content. People need to have a voice. We are all stakeholders in these things. So it is just wrong the way things are being done. So the people who drive on the other side of the road put on siren, you go into prison.
How do you think, in this very simple question, how do you think people who are caught up in the corruption web, how do you think they should be treated? Because corruption has a way of draining down the resources of the country. It has a way of making people to not realize their existence. Quite recently, the tax folks, the IREC, came out and said the name called Finda Bono, who was the former chief, the former how you call
was
it?
Chief of staff?
Chief of staff. No, not the chief of staff, but Finda Bono, the chief of protocol to the former president George Weah, allegedly smuggled 6 million, something around 6 million plus United States dollars and 800 million Liberian dollars a person through a kind of dubious agreement, managed to launder all of these different money. How do you think, you being a president under your administration, you hear this kind of wild, huge corruption issues and allegations and cases against Liberia? Practically, they are not your party members, but they are Liberians who allegedly caused this country a step backward. How do you think you can deal with that situation as a president?
Yeah, everything against our allegations. It has to be proven in a court of competent jurisdiction.
Yes.
So when the allegation comes up, the next thing we're supposed to do was investigation. Let's go and investigate. Let's do a thorough investigation. And when we do a thorough investigation, and if there's a there, right? Then she has to be charged to court and let her go defend herself in court. Everybody is, according to our law, is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. So it's an allegation. The allegation should lead us to an investigation. The investigation should lead us to some indictment, should lead us to some court proceedings. And if the person is found guilty, listen, if you do the crime, you should do the time. That is my motto. And we mean it when we say it. Corruption is destroying this country. People should not do things with impunity. And, corruption has become so ingrained in our society that instead of the people even being angry at corruption, they now clap hands for these corrupt leaders.
And this is the point.
And that's the problem.
And this is the part I was coming to, because when these people are linked to issues of corruption, you have the very same people, the ordinary people, the people who are suffering, the people who are the victims of these different public corruption allegations and scandals. They are the very people defending these people in the public space. Now, you being president of the country, and these people are caught in the web of corruption, and you go to court and the court render you guilty of the crime of corruption. Mr. President, in the future, what will you do? How should people like these who intentionally take resources and make it to be used for they and their family, when Those resources are supposed to be extended to the rest of the other vast majority of the people, Mr. President, in the future. What do you think such a people, how should they be treated?
They should pay the price for that. And that's what I told you. I want to clean up government. I want to make government unattractive. Corruption has many faces, like I said. Another aspect of corruption is somebody who wants public office in Liberia. His entire family lives abroad. How do you expect that person to be loyal to this country? And so one of the things we will do, if you want to work in the government in Liberia, you will move your wife and your children to Liberia. If they cannot stay in Liberia, then you cannot hold office in Liberia. Because if your wife and children have to feel the pain that other people are feeling.
You really mean that?
I mean it. I mean it 100%. And hold me accountable when that time comes. If you cannot move your family to Liberia, you cannot work in Liberia. Because you will treat Liberia as a concession area where you just come and siphon money back to your people. We're not going to do that. Another thing we will do, I will make sure education from ABC to first degree, you will earn everything in Liberia. Liberians will only leave this country for overseas studies for masters.
That's a huge
You will
policy.
do everything right here. It's the only way we built this place. Listen, if you, the government official, you have nothing tied you to what's happening in the country, how will you improve the school system? How will you improve the health sector when you're not going to the hospital in Liberia? Your children don't live here. Your wife don't live here. How will you contribute? Another thing I would do, no superintendent will live in Monrovia. You will live in a county. You can't be a superintendent in Maryland, you live in Monrovia. How does that work? I will make sure superintendents will be elected. And there's too much power arrogated to the president of Liberia that I don't need all that power. I want superintendents to be elected so that they are accountable to the people. Because when I appoint a superintendent, through the legislative
They are more accountable to you.
They are more accountable to me. I want them to be accountable to the people because the superintendent in Liberia, under federal arrangement, those are the governor of the state. Okay? So how can a superintendent be appointed by the president? He should be elected by the people. That's what I would do. When I become president, I'm bringing the Liberian presidency back to 4 years. 6 years is too much to give to a fool to waste this country's time. We go back to 4 years.
Repeat that.
When I become president, I'm bringing term limits to the Liberian presidency. We're bringing it back from 6 years to 4 years. 6 years is too much for a fool to waste this country's time. The Senate, their term or limit is too much. 8 or 9 years, that's too much. In America, president is 4 years. Representatives are 2 years. Senators are 6 years. That's it. Why should we give 8 years to a fool? Why should we get, I don't know how much representative, 9 years.
9 years to senators.
That's not going to happen.
9 years to senator, 6 years to representative.
It's too much.
And 6 years to president.
That is too much. Another thing I would do, the Supreme Court, no president should appoint Supreme Court justices.
You think it contravenes?
They should go for elections too. Let the people put them so they can represent the people. Because whoever president...
That undermines the justice system of the country.
We want the justice system to be fair. We want it to be free.
I'm asking you, the appointment of the...
It undermines it because whoever appoints someone for that role on the seat of the Supreme Court, they're loyal to that person. Listen, I don't want attention. I don't want power. I want to get power away from me. Okay? Another thing, we're going to create national think tank. We don't want when we bring the president back to 4 years, we don't want every 4 years, every Tom, Dick, or Harry tell us this is my vision. That's what dragging the country back. Samuel Doe starts a project, Ellen Camp instead, government is continuing it. Ellen Camp, she abandons that and starts hers. She starts hers, she doesn't finish it, her tenure is over. Weir comes, he abandons that, he starts his own. Then JMB comes, he abandons what he left behind and starts his own. That is waste of resources. That's a waste of time. We are not going to do that. We're going to create a township think tank. We're going to create a district think tank. We're going to create a county think tank. And we're going to create a national think tank. That is, for the next 4 years, what does the country want? So the country said we want British.
That's a national development
plan. We want X, Y, Z. So everybody now running for president, you're not telling us what you're going to do. You're telling us how you want to achieve these things.
Because almost everybody running for different offices.
Exactly.
They have different opinions.
Exactly.
And different engagements.
That's why there's so many abandoned projects all over the place. Because one president doesn't finish, the next person can, if I finish it, the credit goes to that person. You see that selfishness. But if we have a national think tank, if it's the country telling us This is where we're going. If the county is telling us from the county development fund, this is what we want. If the township is telling us this is how we want to go, then it narrows the scope. So whoever say, hey, I want to be township, hey, I want to be district commissioner, hey, I want to be superintendent, hey, I want to be president. You only tell us how do you achieve these things we have earmarked.
We've seen from the level you speak like you are so much angry about the way
I'm frustrated and I'm angry
about the way the country is going, and your frustration is so high. But from 2023 behind and from 2023 to now, let's look at the way the Unity Party has governed the country. Looking at the issue of development, corruption, the rule of law, have you seen any changes in that? Have you? Because this popular slogan that nothing has changed, I'm sure you've heard about it. Nothing has changed. The same thing CDC was bullied for, it's just a replica of what the Unity Party is doing.
Yes.
Now, you as a political leader, wanting to be president of the Republic of Liberia, has there anything changed?
It depends on where you look. It depends on who you speak to. Now you're speaking to me.
Yes, I'm speaking to you.
And then it depends on what we're looking at. What kind of developmental metrics are we looking at? What are the KPIs, key performance indicators we're looking at? What are we looking at? Because all I see here, I see some cosmetic development. I see some development should be intentional, not just cosmetic, selective, and sectorial. No, it should be intentional. And like I said, the first priority JMB should have done was to finish the RIA highway, because that's the gateway to the city. So we are not developing priorities-wise. When it comes to the rule of law, I know that JMB cannot deliver on the rule of law in this country because the first misstep was from the inauguration. The Weir administration gave almost $1 million, I think $650,000 just for the inauguration. That was the budget.
$500,000.
More than $500,000, okay? And then they had some other money for the counties. JMB, the Unity Party chairman, Reverend Luther Tappe, who is a friend, he was on air. I watched the interview. They cut the money from the districts that they're supposed to do their own celebration. And he said, yes, he did that. Did JMB punish him? No, JMB gave him a job. That's where he should have started from. And Liberia would have known, a new sheriff is in town. Miata family, all of them, did they account how they spent the inaugural fund? Was there any investigation? Was there any accountability? So when JMB cannot discipline his own party chairman, who corrupted during the inaugural season, Miata family, who went to bring equipment from Sierra Leone, and there's no accountability, this man cannot deliver. So when CDC started to cry that all his investigations, legal stuff were witch hunt, I agree with them.
You agree with CDC?
I do. Because if you want to clean house, start in your own house. You should have punished Luther Tappe, Reverend Tappe, for that money he took from the inauguration for the different districts. He took them. He cut those money. He should have been penalized. Miata family, them should have given a report on how they spent that money. When the microphones were all going off, they should have accounted for it. If you cannot account for that, and then you go after CDC, then you're being selected. I'm not saying that. They're right to say you're being selected. Because who in the Unity Party has he held accountable? JMB. Who has he held accountable? So if you can't hold your own accountable.
JNB has suspended and has...
who did he suspend?
JNB has suspended and has removed a few of his government officials over the time.
Let's name them.
Since he took power, he removed Amin Moda.
He did not. Amin Moda is my friend. JNB did not move him. Amin resigned.
Is that still removal?
It's not removal. Resignation is not removal.
It was a cost.
No, it doesn't matter what the cost. If something happened in this studio,
okay,
and the management does not come on air and say because of X, Y, Z, we're removing Washington, that's not removal. If Washington himself decide, hey, because of the way things going, you know what, I resign my position, that's not removal. He willingly, voluntarily, volitionally, willfully resigned on his own. He's my friend. He resigned on his own. Okay? JMB did not fire him. He resigned.
But there were also...
And even after the resignation, there was no investigation. He's my friend. I'm saying it. I'm not saying it to denigrate.
And what is your perspective on that? After the resignation,
there should have been.
Because there was a cause for the resignation.
There was a cause for the resignation. So if there's a cause for the resignation, has JMB investigated to know if Amin Moda was right or wrong? The country doesn't know that.
People think that the country is going anywhere with the political involvement of the Unity Party and the CDC. I was thinking and critically looking out. You want to be president of the country, Mr. President in waiting. Do you think the CDC, the Congress for Democratic Change, on George Weah, do you think George Weah, as a populist, as someone who is loved by the downtrodden, by the people in the slum communities, by vast majority of the Liberian people, because the Liberian community is a poor community. It's just a few handful of people who are enjoying the resources of the country. But this man is the most loved Liberian citizen ever. Do you think the George Weah's administration did any good for this country? You want to be president. Let's look at George Weah. Let's macroscope George Weah. What was his leadership like in your view? And just give an expression on how did he lead the country? And they are talking about coming back. And let's look at, what does it mean for Liberia to have these people coming back to the country?
I will answer that question using myself, and after that I will want my youth chair to chime in so that he can lend his voice to the conversation. When it comes to Weah, I use me as an example. Judge Weah is loved by many people, but technically by most foolish people. And I would say that with no apology.
You say what?
He is loved by many people, mostly by...
I want my viewers to listen to you.
Judge Weah is loved by many people, but technically mostly by foolish people. And I'll use myself as an example.
Okay.
I love Judge Weah when he was playing in his heydays. And I moved to Nigeria New. I told all my Nigerian friends that I'm praying for George Weah to declare he wants to run.
I think that Mr. former President George Weah had to be overwhelmingly voted, and then you are saying foolish people
for a second term
will want him for second term.
Yes, because you saw what the first term was like. You saw his first 6 years. Why would you want a repeat of that? Now watch the same thing in America. When Donald Trump came for his first term, he didn't know what he was doing. And he has some mature adults in the room who stop him from doing certain things. And we beg America, do not bring him back. Now they have learned from their first term. So the second term, they came with Project 2025, right? And now it is worse. It's the same thing. Judge Weah came to power for the first 6 years. They didn't know what they were doing. The Jefferson coaches, they didn't know what they were doing. If you bring these guys back, they have perfected the act. It will be worse. That's why you can't bring them back. That's why they cannot come back. Because what they didn't know to do yesterday, now they're going to install more loyalists. They're going to grift more. They're going to come for retribution. They will do worse things. Only foolish people and only grifters who say, through crack coffee, drink water. So when George Weah was president, I was building my heart. I didn't finish it. You got to come back so I can finish it. Those are the people that want him come back.
I think probably you're trying to talk about the cycle of George Weah,
including the ordinary people. The young people that overwhelmingly voted for George Weah, what programs did he give to young people? Tell me, you guys are in this room, in this country, the young people that were in the street, muya. Tell me the program George Weah had in 6 years for young people. He abandoned them.
Okay, since you've come to the position of the young people, let's go to your companies and let's talk about what are the programs that your organization, your political movement has developed, that when you come to power, your young leaders will be able to, implement these different programs and accommodate young people into different engagement, different development sectors, and all of that. Your young companies will speak to that. What do you have on the template for the young generation of the country if your political movement is given power in 2029 to lead this country? Because we saw from the CDC perspective, the man called Jefferson Koji, who was the young man for the CDC, practically we did see what he did with the young people. Whether he did well or he didn't do well, this is not my position to say, but the evidence are there. Your young leader is in the studio this evening. What are the strategies your organization, your political movement has for young people?
So thank you very much. You mentioned Jefferson Koji. sometimes, like the political leader said, you have to check people's history. So I come from the background of education. So I serve as a classroom teacher for over 10 years, with 10 years experience, over 10 years experience. So a focus person in the past for the young people never had a history of even being a study class teacher. So why would you teach young people? So some of us who have stayed in the classroom, who have nurtured many young comrades today, we know one of the greatest things that we have for the young people is to build their capacity. Because when their capacity are built, they will make sound decisions. The reason why the young people are being used as tools is because no capacity building. The recycle politician thinks that we should keep the young people stagnated, don't improve their senses. So if we come back after 10, 15 years, we can still use them. That's why when I was on the radio, a guy called and said, we can't trust the young people because like 90% of the young people are not serious. So I say, yes, I agree. But there are 10% out of the 90 because the person must be 100. So you as a young man, where do you find yourself? Are you with the 90% that are not serious, or are you with the remaining 10% that are serious that can move the young people, the remaining 90 that are unserious? Because it takes one person sometimes to bring change. Changes all around the world. Sometimes.
Do you have plans on the template for young people?
Yes.
What are you thinking of? If your political movement is given power in 2029, what are you thinking of the young people should get involved with?
Even right now, we're not in power, but even right now we have a lot of vocational training for young people. So I work with use it for 6 months. When we use it, there are a lot of skills are acquired. So in my institution, I'm doing soap science. I teach people how to produce their own soap, the liquid soap, their own bath soap. I teach you how to produce your chloride, your camel wax. These are things that we want people to have skills. So we're not just telling you to say Amanda Awetu or to chant the battle cry. We want you to do something with your hands. And tomorrow, if you are not opportune to work in government, you can just sustain yourself. The reason why we are all crying is because the governmental sector is not already providing the opportunity. Then there is nothing in the private sector. And I saw the former ruling party that built a vocational school. It took over 6 years to build one school, and nobody went to that school. So what did the people learn from that? Nothing. I could see the youth chair at the time, before becoming Secretary General, just putting young people behind to meditate and raise them. No education, no platform for people to really leave Liberia to go for study. All of our friends that left during the former regime of President Weah went to Cyprus, went there on their own. So there was no government scholarship for people to build their capacity.
Let me jump in. Your political movement now will be able to redesign things to improve the lives of the young people. Is that what you're trying to say?
Definitely.
Let me jump in there to say something.
Okay, yes.
That I'm thinking about.
Let's give you 1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Next question, then we'll go to the line because we have our next guest.
When Lila takes over power, we are going to develop youth development programs. We're going to promote those things. Another thing we'll do, our young people they have talents. And one thing I want to do, when we take over the helms of affairs from day one, we're going to have an executive order to ban foreign music from our airwaves until Liberian music can take center stage. Foreign music, foreign movies, Liberian movies have to take center stage. We want to support our YouTubers. We want to support our content creators.
You would just immediately ban the music?
We got to do that.
Do you have the trained musician to provide the kind of quality of music?
Listen, let me tell you this. You give me 1 minute. Do you think Nigerian music was what it is today? I was there. I witnessed the rebirth of Nigerian music.
But they had to develop the musicians.
Well, let me tell you how it developed. How do you think if people that took them to studio, this was how Nigeria came. When I was in Nigeria, Nigeria was a failed state. Banks open today, close tomorrow. Young people, the only thing we watched were foreign songs, foreign music. I was there and watched the rebirth. It was during Obasanjo's second term. What did he do? He brought this guy called Charles Soludo and made him the governor for Nigerian Central Bank. When Charles Soludo came, he said, listen, every bank in Nigeria, because of how bad it was, any bank that does not have this amount, I think it was 25 billion or so in their capital reserve, will close you down. Everybody shouted it. He said, there's a leeway for you. If you know you cannot survive, then merge. All these Nigerian banks, they are now one bank. Only 2 banks survived the merger. First Bank of Nigeria, a Union Bank of Nigeria. All these other banks, GT, some of them are 4 or 5 banks that came together and merged 3 banks, 5 banks, they came together, they merged. That's what happened. Then MTN came because MTN was a failed company in South Africa. It's a South African company. They wanted to fold up. Somebody told them, before we fold up, let's go overseas. So the first country MTN went to was Nigeria. They brought cell phone. I was there for all these things. When they came, they started to promote youth programs. The guys that really power it was AIT, Africa Independent Television, and they operated a radio station called Ray Power. But was a Ray Power, one of them. But with the Bruce brother, Ben Morris bruised them. Do you know what it did? When they came, they started to rebrand Nigeria. Anybody who dressed like you fired. Everybody had to wear Nigerian-made lapa. Sew it into anything you want to sew. Everybody that had English name, you change it, you use your Nigerian name. Those things happened. They started to rebrand. The banks, then after MTN came, Airtel came, they started to put money into reality programs. And then Two-Face Idibia came up with this, You Are My African Queen. And then they started all kinds of reality programs, and boom, the things is just sprout. And Nigeria, South Africa at the time was the leading economy in Africa. Today, Nigeria is the leading economy because people took some steps. Liberia can take the same step by developing our young people. In fact, they start playing foreign music on their airwaves. They started playing only Nigerian songs. When these children saw that there was help and support, then they started producing quality songs. If we keep trashing Liberian music, that we don't have it, you can bring Nigerian stars here, pay them thousands of dollars. And then you bring Liberian artists to warm the stage for these Nigerian stars, and you tell them $300, and they got to walk behind government for 6 months to get $300. That is corruption. It's evil. When we come, we ban foreign music from the airwaves. We ban foreign movies. We will promote. There are so many talent. Look at the surfing in Kidman. We got to improve that, make it international, build good results. We got so much talent in this country. Nobody's paying attention to it. And that's why the young people go into drugs. I told people, you want to solve the drug problem, it's not to cut it from the head, from the apex. You got to go to the causation. What is causing it? It's youthful unemployment. No programs. So the people wake up in this country morning to evening, they just walk along the streets. They got nothing to look up to. Why wouldn't they go into crime? Why wouldn't they do drugs?
So let me ask you the last question. We go to the lines and take call. His name is, he's my guest today, and he's the political leader of the Liberia Young Leaders Alliance. His name is Honorable Reverend Sekou T. Salive, and he's my guest, and he wants to be president in 2029. What do you think 2029 should be like? Before we go to the lines, what do you think it should be like? Should it be the recycling of old politicians, or it should be a new breed of idea wherein we're going to trash out the likes of the Unity Party, the CDC, and bring new people to the board to lead the country? What do you think 2029 should protect? Because it is going to determine the future and the fate of the country.
I think these young people can answer. They don't want recycled politicians. These people should retire because it's the same old people. It's the same old playbook. We'll be at the same place. So I will let them answer. What do you want?
Let me just give you 1 minute. What do you think 2029 should be? Should it be the same way we see the country going, or should we expect something different?
So, on our program last Saturday, an elder man said to me, he said, must not be surprised, 2029, there will be a new phase. He said, because it's just like when you bet for Baka, Mandre, these are teams that you know already. They can always spoil your ticket. So one day he said, let me just bet for anybody I know. Like how happened to resurface in 2023. Because I told someone, if I cannot support the current president, Joseph Boakai, why should I support George Weah? If I don't want George Weah, why should I go for Musa Belete? And then what will I be doing with Sir Joseph? So these are the same people. In 2029, there will be a new breed of people who have never been to the disco, but have the ideas, the capacity to transform. So no to CDC, no to Unity Party, no to CMC, no to PAP, no to Liberty Party, no to AMC. All of the C's, they already got problem by themselves. So no to them.
So let's ask you the Secretary General. What do you think the 2029 election is supposed to be? Because it's going to determine the future of the country.
And great. And we will, as my youth chair said, we'll have a new breed of leaders. That's why we say Liberia Young Leaders Alliance. It will not be the old faces you are seeing government today, because we want a new breed of people. Take across the country now. The Liberia Young Leaders Alliance message is clear. That's why you see us moving like wildfire. You go to Sino, we have a strategic team there. You go to Granji there, you go to Nimba, you go to Riverside, you go to Bassa, you go to Bon, Magibi. We are everywhere. We are moving like wildfire. And Liberia Young Leader Alliance just gave birth. Was giving birth to just January of this year, and you see the kind of people we have put over. Check your YouTube. You see the program that we just heard some times back. You see the number of people, because the young people are tired. The young people want to take the lead, and the young people understand the manifesto of this great movement, and they are into it with their whole mind. So the Liberia Young Leader Alliance going to take the lead comes 2029.
The Liberia Young Leaders Alliance will take the lead 2029. Our special studio guest is the Honorable Reverend Sekou T. Solive, and he happens to be the political leader of this movement. The lines are open: 0772 038240, 0772 038240. That's line number 1. Line number 2 is 0778 460-793. That's line number 2. 0778 460-793. That's line number 2. And line number 3 is 0886 050507. 0886 050507. He wants to change Liberia. He wants to be the president in 2029. Let's go to the lines. All the lines are blinking. Welcome. What's your name and where you come from?
Thank you very much. My name is Omento Eldoa, calling from District 4, Tuburu, Subatan.
District 4, where is that place?
Tuburu, Subatan, Tuburu.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. Listen to the honorable man very clearly. And what all he said that is true. Myself, really welcome him. What I don't want to tell him, it should not only be Motorado for the peace. I want for you to take a tour in the 15th county for you to see for yourself. Because the 15 counties, when you go to some of the areas, government analysis make a matter. You cannot see any tangible thing there. Father, I'm appealing to you, your county trust should stop now to be going from door to door, from house to house, from county to county, from county to county.
Thank you very much.
From district to district for you to see what's happening in the country.
Thank you.
Thank you very
much. Let's go to line number 2 and talk to this person. Hello, what's your name and where you call from?
Good afternoon.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Henry Buchanan Smith, Jr. Riverside. I want to say to the studio guests here, speak left. It is time to take over leadership because the young people have been marginalized over years. So it is time for the young people to take over leadership because this man got a good ambition for the young people that are going to the country. If you look at our population, we got 60 young people. But the young people can always be marginalized when it's time. They use the young people to go and do poverty. After when they turn their back on the young people. So this we study plan for the young people. The young people go to see how bad they can run it so they can be the next president of Liberia.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's go back to line number 1. We take one call from this line, go back to the other line.
Yes, afternoon.
I could have just cut you off.
Sorry, I'm having the radio now.
Go ahead.
Okay, my name is O.P. Will. I'm calling from Broadville.
Go ahead from Broadville.
I listen to the honorable man so much. I want to ask you questions, if you can address them. I want to know how long have he, as an individual, Mr. Selly, have been around in Liberia, and how is he open with the Liberian situation? And what are you doing now to empower the young people of Liberia in case of local scholarships or international scholarships? You are now forming a political party. I want to take leadership in the country to get people prepared for central bank, different areas where the government will be controlling. What are you doing to get scholarship for these people? Just killing the young people. What is your current action, like what others are doing as a political party, to remedy the situation and rescue the people?
All right.
And do you see progress in the current administration? If so, you should outline the progress.
I think you answered that question.
Make improvement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's take the caller from this line. Hello, what's your name and where you call from?
Hello.
Go ahead.
Oh,
the way of introduction, my name is Prince T.K.D., commonly called Ronnie Town from Joking. The man who brought a new political party that said he won't be president in Liberia. Then he is shorting the Liberian people. That is, he is a man that is going to lead a social man.
Hello, sir. Hello. I don't tolerate these kind of people on the line. Let's go to line number 3 and take this caller. Okay, we lost this caller. Let's go to line number 2 and take this caller. Welcome. What's your name and where you call from?
Good evening. And I'm the motto chairperson Liberia Young Leaders Alliance. Let me say good evening in studio. You are name and date. We know this that yes, father will come in with saying you hitting the knee on the neck, so they will not say the right thing. Now while you see that other man, he thought this too is part of leadership, especially when it comes to so we don't have anything to say about that.
Thank you.
But let's keep on. Leader is going to take state power come 2029. No.
Thank you.
While all the young people are coming onto leader. Salute you all in studio.
Thank you very much. Let's go back to this line and take this person. Okay, let's take this person. Hello. Okay, let's go back to line number 1 and take this person. Hello, what's your name and where you call from? We'll take 2 more calls.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Jim Schwaber calling from Batman Job.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm listening to your guest in studio that want to become president of Liberia. I wish his dream come true, but there are some things that he say it is not right for we, the citizen. Number 1, he have already abused we, the youth, the health CDC, or the youth that have the health CDC. And according to them, they are foolish people. You will not know the person you're running behind. So, can you let him in power and he can do the same like George we are? So the people end up calling out to again a foolish people. So if you want to come to power, what can you do for the people? Why should you come out and just say to the people that this is what I can do?
Thank you. We'll take 2 more calls and then we go back to our guest. Hello, go ahead.
My name is Donald Dugan calling from Zubata.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just listened to the political leader. He really made my day today. Father, thank you for your information for the country. Only thing I want to tell you is the young people have been marginalized in the country. If you are coming to deal with the young people, focus on the young people and focus in the federal district. People that will be on your ticket, make sure that they work on behalf of young people.
All right.
Trade school that you're talking about, open all in the federal country, in the federal district, that your young people will work to see that schools and hand work.
Thank you
very much for your convention.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the lines. We can't take all the calls because the calls are too many. Hello, what's your name and where you call from?
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Go ahead. Good evening. I'm sorry, sir. If I mind the call lines, I don't think I will have you to leave the studio. So let's get back to you. You listen to the concerns. In the next 3 minutes, because we have our next guest who just wrap up us. You listen to the concerns. Some people I applaud in you. I don't think we have to talk about that because that's just a compliment to what you said in the studio, but you listened to the various concerns.
I did. I wrote everything down.
Address those concerns very quickly.
So beginning number 1, they talk about taking a tour in the 15 counties. We're working on that. December will be in Sano. And we also have other places we want to go. How long have you been around? I've always been around. I never left this country. I stay in the country from the war. I was born and raised here.
Probably you've been silent.
I travel, I go to school, and I come back. And that's what I've been doing. And right now, I'm still in school. So I've been around. I've been here. Okay. What are you doing today to empower young people? Listen. the largest population of this country is young people, and we need them, because if we want to build economic power, we need to empower our young people. That's why I enumerated those programs that we want to work on. And our campaign, Leila, is towards two people. It's been led by the young people, but it's towards young people and our elders. The elders in this country, they borne the brunt of this country from time immemorial till now, and they have benefited nothing. And one of the programs I'm working on, when we take over power, every Liberian citizen that is 60 years old and above, we are going to create an account every month that we get stipend from government, because they have suffered in this country and they benefited nothing. While we build our youth capacity, we will also attend to our elders, because they deserve that. How do you solve the drug problem in Liberia? Again, like I said, causation. When we put these things in place, our young people will be empowered. That's why we want to remove the beret from our young children. Chanting war chant every day. We want to put suit on them. When I was coming for my reception, they wanted to wear certain uniform. I said, no, I want to see Liberian young professionals. So everybody around me should wear suit and tie. That's why we're painting an image in the mind of the young people, like the Bengals. We want professional young people, not militant young people. We came from war. Why are we militarizing the young people instead of professionalizing them? We cannot do that. And for the caller that said I'm insulting, maybe you did not follow me.
That's why I wanted you to
address. I said, if you have seen Josh, we are 6 years, and you say he should come back for another 6 years, you got to be a grifter or you got to be foolish. What did you benefit from Josh? We are 6 years. That's what I'm talking about. And I would not eat my words, but I stand by my words. If Josh Weah, and like I said, if Josh Weah has never been president before, I will understand. You got the right to vote for whoever. But he has already been president for 6 years, and we saw it. So to say he should come back, you got to be a grifter or you got to be foolish. And I would not apologize for that.
Okay. So the conversation is all about the political leader. And that was wonderful. Maybe you have an important comment?
Yes, I have a parting comment, and that's where actually I started. Because the name
just wrap up in
just 30 seconds. The name Sekou Salim, I want Liberian people to understand, because they're confused. They say, oh, I'm Mandingo man. I'm not Mandingo. My father was Gola from Clay District, Bombay County. I'm a Gola man. That's why they Sekou name. And then they truck on the T. My mother was from Riverses, Bassa from Riverses.
Okay.
So that's why it's a truck on. And so I'm a Sali from Clay District. I'm a pastor. I've been a Christian all my life. So for all of you out there who say I'm Mandingo man, no, I'm not Mandingo.
Okay.
I'm a Gola ambassador from Riverses and Bombay County.
Thank you.
And I am a pastor.
Thank you so much. That's my guest. He wants to be president of Liberia comes 2029. It was a wonderful, wonderful conversation here on the Brawl. My name is Washington Prince Tapper Jr. We're taking the team from Tim Barclay Conley from the Reporters Association of Liberia. We'll walk in very shortly. We'll just have a brief conversation, just know about the issues surrounding the Reporters Association of Liberia. Our colleagues journalists will come in here and we'll talk journalist issues. Thank you so much. Join us our second segment.